I'm Alex.
And I'm Nori.
And we are the Goodnight Shop. This is your safe space where we're going to talk about all kinds of things. We're not looking to be divisive. We're not looking to be controversial. We're just looking to have a good time. Make your night a good night. Starting out, it's our first episode and you are a part of our friend group. So welcome. We have a great agenda for us. So we're going to start with that music minute.
Okay, we ready?
Yes.
True story. No glory. Let's go. Yeah, the old me used to love a Gemini. Like a threesome, fucking with him every night. A lot of two-faced people show me both sides. So I figured
love
out
this
I gotta
song.
be my own type. They used to say they get.
All right, that's 15 seconds.
I love it. I love it. That is our music minute. Today we have chosen Soulmate by Lizzo because there's nothing better than to love yourself and be your own soulmate, right? So that's why we've chosen this song. What do you think of that song?
Oh, I love that song. I love all of Lizzo's songs. If you aren't having solo concerts in the car to Lizzo, you are missing out. You're doing something wrong.
You are. I think she's such a powerhouse of positivity and just sunshine, and I absolutely love her. So you're going to hear a lot of Lizzo here on our show. And today what we're going to do is we're going to roll our little die here with all of our different topics, and we're going to start with advice column.
Heck yes.
Right? So
Love it.
what advice do you have for us today?
Okay, yes. My first one is, and I love this, a close friend who takes care of my house when I travel, snoops through my things. What do I do?
That's a hard one.
Such a hard one. Such a hard one because I think the fact that it's a close friend makes all the difference. So if this was somebody who, you know, you hired from Rover or any of those like care apps that you can get a stranger to come in and help you and watch your dogs and watch your house and everything, completely different conversation. But I think when you know it's your friend going through your stuff, such an invasion of privacy.
I mean, for both, right?
For
like if
both.
some stranger was going through my underwear drawer, like I'm going to have a problem with that too. My question is, how does she know?
Yeah, so I did read a little bit more of the
Okay.
explanation, and it did say, thanks, Luna. It did say that she is an OCD, like an admitted OCD person.
Okay.
And she can absolutely tell, like she is so hyper organized that she can absolutely tell when someone has gone through her things. Like it is that to a T. So she does feel like and she lives alone, so she does feel like she has irrefutable proof that this individual is going through it.
That's hard. That's really hard because if you trusted the person enough to let them in your house to take care of your puppy, take care of your house, take care of your plants, whatever it is you ask them to take care of, and they have kind of broken that trust by going through your things, if they're close enough, I would bring it up. I'd be like, hey, were you looking for something? I couldn't help but notice that you moved some stuff or went through some stuff. Were you looking for something? Like maybe broach the conversation a little bit softer. And if they deny it, then you have to decide how you want to go about it, right? Are you going to be a little more aggressive? Are you going to be a little more passive? Like, what is it that you're going to do? But that's definitely, that sucks.
I had the exact same thought, and I even thought, okay, if this was Alex and she was watching my stuff, I personally would be like, what were you looking for? And it would be no big deal.
True.
But for me, I think I'm not some people, rightfully so, it's their own stuff. I don't even know if you can call it possessive when it's your own belongings, but I know some people are really private and clearly it's bugging this person. So I almost laugh thinking, to your point, well, if they're that close of a friend and you trust them to stay in your house and take care of your stuff, but you don't feel comfortable enough bringing it up, it could end up being no big deal. It could end up being like, oh yeah, what were you looking for? And then they tell you, oh, I was looking for so-and-so. I'm sorry. I knew you'd know I went through your stuff.
For sure.
If they deny it, I agree. Whole other conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I say bring it up.
Yeah. Bring it up.
Bring it up.
Probably bring it up. Or if it made you feel super uncomfortable, recognize your own boundaries and then just don't have that person in your house when you're not there anymore, right? It's like something you just know. So right now I'm trying to sell my house, and I have people coming in to see the house when I'm not there. And that is one of my biggest fears, is that they're snooping through my drawers, right? And so my realtor is like, no, they don't do that. People don't do that. But I can't help but think,
Yeah.
what if they do? Right? Like sometimes I want to leave underwear in my nightstand just so that when they open it, they're like, and they close, and they close it.
I know what you mean though. When I am house searching and I'm looking at houses, I feel weird that I'm in a stranger's room and seeing their pictures out and their personal belongings, and even kids, right? Because it's not going to be as cleaned. So there's just more of it around. Like you can see their toys and everything. And I'm always weirded out that I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in their space right now.
But to be fair, I've been looking at houses, and I have gone to houses that are fully furnished, like totally a family lives there, and I'm not snooping through their drawers.
Oh my God, never.
So that gives me a little peace of mind. I'm hoping that other people have the same respect to my home, but you never know. When it's a friend though, have the conversation or don't have them over. This is my final 2 cents.
Agreed.
Yeah?
Agreed. Yeah, I
Okay.
echo that 100%.
So, I found this advice online, and I knew instantly that this was something I was going to bring up today. So, a couple went to therapy. No, I'm sorry. The headline was something like, my fiance cheated on me with my therapist.
Jesus.
I know. When I read that, I was like, I don't even really need to read the rest of the story,
Oh my
but
God.
let's read the story. And so, long story short, her partner recommended that she go to a therapist, was super supportive about it, and come to find out, however long after she started going to the therapist, she learned that not only was her partner going to the same therapist and never learned about it, but on top of it, then found out that they were having an affair. And this is a fiance, right? Right? Like, I mean, talk about betrayal on betrayal, right? Like, not only is my therapist somebody that I pay for this kind of intimate relationship, but then my fiance on top of that, right? So what would you say to someone who came to you with that?
This is why people have fucking trust issues. This is like somebody you're literally paying to be able to trust.
Yes.
Like, even if you can't speak to, your closest confidant, this is supposed to be somebody you're literally paying to keep everything in a box. So, super unethical.
Absolutely.
Maybe illegal. I'm not smart enough to weigh in on that.
I think it is.
It has to be a breach of contract.
Like, you know how like
Breach of
doctors
power.
have boards, lawyers have boards. We're in finance, we have a board, and if we acted outside of, the prudent man rule or a fiduciary rule, like if we're not taking care of our customers, like they can absolutely put a complaint in. And so likewise, if you're talking to a therapist, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, like they are held to a higher standard of professionalism. And if you are found in this kind of situation, I can't imagine that there isn't a place that you're going to be able to put in an official complaint. Because to be honest, that person shouldn't be a therapist.
Yeah, I think as far as what she should do, number one would be get that bitch fired.
I don't disagree.
Number one. But, I mean, obviously, yes, file a complaint. Absolutely should let that individual's supervisor know. All of that. Definitely make all those escalations. But also, I think if you were in... See, and they weren't in couples therapy, were they? They were in individual.
I had to correct myself. I had to correct myself because at first I thought it was couples therapy, which I'm like borderline. Is it worse?
I know. That's so hard.
It's like bad on bad on bad.
Because also, I'm thinking worst case, which is probably what happened, but it's like, did he know his wife was seeing this therapist and that's why he chose her?
Right? And
which is also disgusting.
To be fair, I don't know that this was a woman and a man, I don't know what the couple was, but I don't think it matters, right?
No.
Like, honestly, thank you, therapist, for taking out the trash and taking it with you, because now you're not marrying that person who's not faithful, who is not loyal, who is not any of the things that you want to find in a person. Girl, look at my throat. I
Yeah.
scratched once, and now it looks like I have a scar there.
I didn't even notice it until you called it out. The
problem with
camera
being
makes it look
so
worse
white.
than...
Really?
Yeah, because you can't even see it that much. That's what's gonna be my point, is that if anything, once you have the anger and the healing and the grief, you can be so thankful you found that out before you got married. Right?
Absolutely.
Like, that just tells you, like, that's not someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. So thank goodness you found that out.
Mm-hmm.
But scum.
And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't find another therapist.
Yes.
I know that's going to be hard. It's going to be
Yes.
so hard to trust somebody again. But there are some fantastic therapists out there, and this situation is probably going to need expertise like a good therapist, right? So sometimes you go out there and you find a therapist and it doesn't work out for a myriad of reasons. Go out and find somebody else. Find somebody that you jive with. Find somebody that you feel like you can really trust, and start again. Don't let this experience with a crappy therapist get you off course from your own healing and your own growing. Go find someone else that you jive with, someone else that you trust, and keep that journey going.
Yeah, I agree. That's the hardest part about therapy, in my opinion. I mean, finding the right therapist can take years.
And a few of them, really. I mean, it's not like you find one and you're like, oh, well, now I have to tell you all my secrets. Like,
right.
No. Go to somebody. If you jive, you jive. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And you just find somebody else that you click with a lot better. There's a ton of websites now where you can find different therapists, doctors, whatever it is that you're specifically looking for. But don't let this crap of a person deter you from getting your own help.
Agreed.
My last 2 cents on
Agreed. 100%.
that. Awesome.
All right, my next one is around an individual who travels alone for work and wants to know, is it weird to go out alone? They want to go out alone.
Nope.
No, I absolutely, and the reason I picked this is because I do travel for work, and I have traveled maybe the past 6-7 years. And I didn't go out alone.
For the longest time?
For the longest time. I would say it took me a few years. I would pick up food on my way to the hotel or room service or whatever I needed to do to not go out. I felt so weird about it. And which is funny because now when I see other people out, I'm like, good for you. When they're out solo, like, love it. I love it. Now I don't give two thoughts about it. I will go sit in a restaurant alone. I would go see a movie by myself. No qualms about it.
I'm a road warrior as well. So I travel for work a ton, and I think I also had that apprehension when I first started.
Yeah.
I would go to whatever restaurant I wanted. I'd order my food and I would go and
Same.
just like swirl in my hotel room. And I hated that.
Yeah.
And then there was a movie that came out and I really wanted to go see it in the movie theater. So I went by myself and I had a gale time. So
Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So now I am the complete opposite.
Same.
I will specifically look for a mom and pop restaurant. So I don't want to go to a chain. I mean, sometimes you have to, but I try to find something that is not a chain restaurant. And I will legit be the loser in the corner with my book and my dinner, and I get stares. Of course you're going to get stares, but are they really going to remember you a week from now, 2 weeks from now? The answer is absolutely not. They're more worried about themselves. So go out, have a good time, go to dinner, treat yourself, go to the movies. I'm a big Groupon fan, so go online, see what there is to do around you, and just show yourself a great time.
I agree. But I also think it also does not mean you have to be traveling. I mean, you can even be home with your spouse and they want to stay in. You can still go out.
Yes.
Like, I think about, my mom used to say this all the time because my mom used to want to go out. And my dad was just perfectly content being a stay-at-home, right? Like, he worked, wanted to come home and be home. And now, like, recently she was like, I missed out on things that I didn't go out and do. And now she'll just go out and do them. Like, you just want to go out. Just, if the other person doesn't want to go, fine, go out alone. Go out alone. I even think, yeah, it doesn't have to be traveling. But now I'm like the total opposite, where I don't even care at all about, I don't even think twice about it. So
Same.
it's funny. I think this individual didn't say their age.
Okay.
And I was specifically curious about their age because I think for me, it was a lot about my own personal
Ego.
insecurities and feeling weird and be like, oh my God, would people think I had no friends and everything else? And now I'm like, oh my gosh. Now I'm like, I don't want to make eye contact. Do not talk to me. I'm happy being alone.
Absolutely. You know what it reminded me of? That episode of Friends when Rachel wants to go out by herself.
Yes.
And then she sits and she's reading a book and the guy's like, ugh, you're such a dork. Like,
yes.
I am going to judge you more for judging me.
Right.
Like,
right.
Leave that shit at home.
I agree. I agree.
Go out, treat yourself, whatever that is, treat yourself and do it.
Another fantastic tidbit when you're going out and at the restaurant, you can even pop up your phone now and like watch Hulu, watch a movie. It's called a movie. It's called Movie and a Date, Movie and Dinner. Love it.
I love it.
Love
it. And we're all about self-love and treating yourself, so I like that a lot. You ready for my last one?
Yes.
Because it's a doozy.
Oh my gosh, yours always are. Okay.
I about died when I read this, by the way.
Oh my God.
So.
Hold on, I need more drink.
Yeah, you do. You do. This was a young woman who is engaged to, I would say, also an equally young man. So she's 23, he's 27. They're engaged. And the headline or the title was, "My fiancé doesn't know how to clean himself." As soon as I read it, it was one of those where I was like, I don't need to read the rest. That headline will do. That's enough. But it gets better. It actually gets better.
So or does it get worse?
You be the judge. So, listen to this. Her whole thing is that he has dirty underwear. Right? And so she's been doing the laundry, and the laundry continues to pile up, and it is dirty underwear over dirty underwear. And she was like, I thought maybe he had some type of medical condition. But can you imagine? Now she's so grossed out because she can smell it. She's so grossed out.
Oh my God.
And she's so grossed out. And like even in the post, she's like, and I see him scratching and scratching and scratching. I'm like, first of all, how long have you been with this person?
How long can you put up with that? Like, the fact that she's let this build is still just
the fact that she agreed to marry this person.
Oh my God, they were
engaged. They're engaged.
I forgot.
So they dated, and she knew about this, and then she got engaged, right? So if there's something that bothers you about the person you're dating, it's only gonna get worse.
It only gets worse. I know those little things you're like, oh, I'll find that cute. It's okay. It's kind of annoying. No. I don't know, like, if you guys have seen those memes and those, like, GIFs or GIFs, depending. I know we said nothing divisive, but if you say GIF, you're wrong. But those where it's like, when you're dating, you fall asleep cuddling, and then it like flashes to like you've been married for 2 years, and it's like, so your knee was on my side of the bed last night.
Yes.
Like, that shit does not get cuter. It does not get cuter.
None of it. It just gets worse. Oh. It annoys you worse. It makes you angrier. Oh, but no pun intended. But if your husband had this issue, what would you do?
Okay, well,
he just came in the corner.
Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do. This is Luna. This whole time, in case you guys can't all see this, just this hairy belly in the corner. This is freaking Luna. Yeah, I think I laugh thinking about how I see a lot of content around gentle parenting nowadays.
This could be a result of gentle parenting.
This is a direct result of gentle parenting. I have so many thoughts. But first of all, I'm like, where were his freaking parents who didn't teach him how to clean himself? Flash forward, though, I am not a gentle spouse. So I will say, like, if this was my husband, I would have never let it go on. It wouldn't have been an ongoing issue. I mean, bless this woman that's been putting up with this. And also, he's whatever, 4 years older than her. Like, whatever.
That's also probably gonna get worse.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, that's so
if
true.
at 27 he's pooping his pants, like at 57,
Oh my god,
it's gonna be a lot.
that's
worse.
the thing, right? Like there is an unspoken agreement through sickness and health. But there's no sickness here, okay? There's no sickness. If you were in your 60s, 70s, we're going back in diapers, 80s, you need me, fine.
That's true.
But at this day and age, you are 27 and you are healthy.
That's some Sharpie butt shit.
Like, I would throw every single pair of underwear away.
As it came in the laundry?
As it came in the laundry. If it had gotten to this point, right? Like, if I'm in her shoes, and this has been an ongoing issue, I would throw every single pair of underwear away. And then I would have that conversation. And again, it's me and I know my husband, right? And he would just be, we would just laugh and whatever. But like, I would say like, what the fuck is up? Like, do you need me to teach you how to shower? And do you need me to teach you how to wipe? Because you wipe until it's clean. Like, every time.
You wipe until it's clean.
You wipe until it's clean. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, it just has to be that way. What sucks is, and what's more odd to me is that if you aren't comfortable having that conversation with your spouse or with your fiance, then you don't need to be spouses. Like, this, and that sucks, right? But like, people always say, I see things often about like, oh, we're having so-and-so money issue. Should I bring it up? And it's like, what's your other option? If you can't talk about things, you can't do anything else.
That's
like,
so true.
You are two independent, separate humans trying to cohabitate and create a life. And especially if you guys want children in the future and everything, some gentle parenting shit, don't let him clean your baby.
Absolutely.
Like, you need to have that conversation with him. And you can be nicer than I am about it. You can be gentle. I think about Alex. Alex is way kinder than me.
I was going to say, I would probably bring it up and I would be gentler. I would be like, hey, babe, I was doing my laundry. And I
Do you need a
couldn't-
doctor?
I couldn't help but notice that there is a trend.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something wrong with your stomach? Is there, right? Like, I would try to have that conversation in a way where my person wasn't embarrassed, but, you know, you have to address it. You have to address it. And if you're gonna go the absolute passive-aggressive way, which I would never choose, just throw away the underwear until your partner comes back and is like, where's all my underwear?
Right.
And then you could just be like, oh, well, I'm just throwing away everything that's stained.
Yes.
Right? And so you're doing your person a favor, right? Like, it just like, my wife is always like, oh, I threw those away because they had a hole. And I was like, those were my favorite. But she did me a favor because they had holes. And so she threw them away.
I have to do that cleanup for Donovan, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not a hoarder, but I'm definitely an emotional, like, nostalgic person. So I'll be like, but these undies have always fit me so well.
Donovan's just lazy. He's just lazy. He gets like holes in his socks or whatever, and he'll hang on to them, or his undershirts, and he hangs on to them. But now we do our own laundry, and I think he got sick of me throwing shit away. That I was like, these aren't it. These ain't it. We got to get rid of it.
I love it. I agree. And I mean, you got so many different options to choose from.
Yes.
From gentle conversation to throwing away the stuff.
To throwing everything away.
To having that conversation where it's like, yo, do we need to get some wipes? Do I need to show you how to wipe? Or do I need to show you how to shower?
Do we need an exorcism? All of these are on the table at this point in your life.
I specifically was... very, very alarmed by the scratching and the smelling.
I had put that out of my brain. I didn't even bring it up.
I'm bringing it back because, like, are you doing anything with your fiance? Like,
Do you just follow him around with a bottle of Lysol?
No. I'm talking about, like, some sexual healing.
Oh my God.
Because, like, if it's...
No, she can't stand the smell.
That's what I'm saying. That could be a motivator when you're having that conversation. Be like, hey, babe, I want to do more stuff with you, but you stanky.
Hey, if you want to diddle, you got to shower.
Exactly.
See, and it's funny because they did say female and male.
Yes.
So I think, again, like for my marriage, for my relationship, I think about how Donovan is so, like, he needs none of the softness, right? Like, he needs none of the don't hurt my feelings. In fact, if I try to do something like that, he'll literally be like, what are you trying to tell me? Just tell me what you're trying to tell me. And I'm like,
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think about that with him. I mean, I will tell him, you need to shower. Like, and he'll say, like, I showered this morning. I'm like, yeah, and then you worked out, and then you woodworked, and then you did this. You need another one.
Yes.
Like, I can just say that. So it's hilarious to me. Not hilarious, but it's like, it's just such a different world where you can't just tell your spouse that stuff. To be fair, he would never say that to me. So I guess I do need that softness.
But it's all about figuring out that language, right? Like what your partner needs, how you express yourself. It's all about finding that balance within that partnership. But ultimately, I'm going to agree with Nori here. If you can't have the conversation, if you feel like even after hearing all the different angles that you could take, you're still thinking, oh, I could never approach this. That's a bigger issue within that relationship, because at the end of the day, you should be able to talk to your partner about your thoughts, your concerns, all of that stuff.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Okay.
Right.
Awesome. We roll the die one more time. Ooh, and we are at Topic Bowl. In Topic Bowl, what we're going to do is we're going to pick topics. We've each put about 20, 30 different topics, and they range from everything, literally everything you can imagine.
Yes.
So what is your topic today?
Yes. So my first one is, what is your dream job?
Ooh.
And has it changed 1, 5, or 20 times since you were a little girl?
I can answer this question.
I love it.
I can answer this question. In fact, I'm going to try to find a picture of my kindergarten yearbook, right? Because in my kindergarten yearbook, they asked what my dream job was. And I wanted to be a pet detective. Yeah. I wanted to be, I was a big fan of Ace Ventura, big fan of Jim Carrey. And I thought that was a real job. So in kindergarten, when they asked me what I wanted to be, I didn't want to be a dentist or an astronaut. I wanted to be a pet detective.
That is precious. That is so precious.
It is something. Now, all through high school, I would say that I wanted to be in advertisement, right? I actually went to college for advertisement and marketing. I love it still to this day. I would have loved to have been a creative director for an ad agency. But as per life, it didn't work out that way. And so
you still could be.
You know?
You never know.
I could. But I'm that person during the Super Bowl that's going to go and, like, look at all the ads, right? I have my favorite ads.
Critique them.
I critique the crap out of ads. I'll be like, what was the point of that? What were they even selling? Right?
I didn't get anything out of that.
I got nothing. I don't even know what company that is. And I don't know what they sell. And then when I moved to the States, I'm from Puerto Rico originally. When I moved to the States, I wanted to be a baker. I wanted to go to the Culinary Institute of America. I wanted to be a baker, but I quickly learned that I much rather cook and bake for my friends and family than I would ever want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go clock in at a bakery.
Yeah.
Later in life, I found my true love, which is what I do now. I am a financial advisor for a finance company, and I help people figure out their finances, and I feel like a superhero, right? I feel like any little bit that I am able to help them is incredible, right? Like, I can actually change people's lives, and that gives me an immense amount of satisfaction.
So are you in your dream job? Dream.
It's a
job
adjusted. Yes, it's adjusted a little bit.
Right.
But absolutely, I absolutely love.
But like you're doing what you want to do at the core, even if the roles and things change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I love what I do.
What a blessing.
I know. It really, when they say like, if you love what you do, you don't work a day in your life. Like, I don't feel like I ever work. Right? I can have a jam-packed schedule, work all day, and by the end of it, I was just talking to people, and I was just talking to them about their finances, and so I love that I found something that I enjoy doing so much. However, if I had like a little magic wand and I could be fantastic, foolproof fantastic, I would be a spy. I'm talking like Tom Cruise in basically any of his movies. I love it. When I was in high school, they came and did like a presentation on all the little different like summer programs, and either Oxford or Cambridge had an espionage program, and I wanted
how phenomenal is that?
Nothing more in life than to go and train to be a spy. Side note, I would need that genie, that wish, because I would make an awful spy. I love to talk. I love to make people feel included. I don't want people to feel excluded, so I'm going to tell you everything I know so that you can be a part of the conversation. And I feel like that does not line up with espionage.
No.
So I found the right job for me.
I love that. And self-awareness is important.
It's important.
It's important. Okay. So so many thoughts on all of that. I will say though, first, going back to kindergarten Alex, pet detective. First of all, I love that. I mean, we're both big animal lovers. But so,
we love animals.
Oh, so much. My mother-in-law, I know that could start a lot of thoughts. That's a whole other podcast. But my mother-in-law recently lost one of her dogs. One of her dogs got out.
Oof.
A dog bounty hunter found the dog. That was what they do for a living. They hunt down lost dogs.
You know what? That's some ego shit right there. Because he could have easily called himself a pet detective. And he was like, I'm a dog bounty hunter.
It's so true.
No, you're not. You're
so true.
a pet detective.
Pet detective. Ace Ventura.
It's a real job.
It's freaking...
Oh, I apologize. We have just been corrected.
Oh.
The bounty hunter was a lady.
Of course.
She is a pet detective.
She's a pet detective. She's a pet detective.
Ego happens for men and women, and she clearly feels like dog bounty hunter can probably charge more than the pet detective.
Right.
But we all know you're a pet detective.
You're a pet detective. And if you need help with your ads and commercials, let Alex know on the pet detective piece.
Yes.
But, so, the job exists. Don't give up on your dreams, folks, okay? So the job exists. And then... Okay, I just love it because we have been best friends now for a couple of years. And we have a lot of weird synchronicities in our life and everything.
That's so true.
But the more we talk and the more I learn, they're random and everywhere, right? And I love the synchronicity stuff in life is very interesting to me. But if I pull up my Google tabs right now, FBI Special Agent career openings in Atlanta, Georgia is literally in there. Because I'm like, I could be a spy. I could be a CIA agent. I check the FBI jobs and CIA jobs all the time. And
They
to
just don't
be
pay enough.
clear, they do not pay enough.
They don't
pay enough.
Sorry.
To risk your life and stuff, no.
And let's be clear. I don't want to be a paper pushing spy.
Right.
I want to be Tom Cruise in one of his movies.
Right.
I want to blow shit up.
I want a
know how to do everything.
floor-length trench coat with hidden shit all over me.
Yes. I want a chapstick that blows up.
Yes. I want the car that comes when I press the remote. Yes. I realize I'm not qualified.
in the job listing?
I recognize no one is recruiting me for that job. I mean,
Honestly, I didn't even think about what that would entail. I just assumed I didn't qualify myself.
no, I'm so glad that you didn't humble yourself by looking it up because I can tell you are also not qualified.
I believe it.
And even like police officers to enter the police academy and everything, and obviously that's a part of it, right? A lot of them are like former police officers. So even the fitness test, we're not even to the jet setting spy piece, but even the fitness test, one of them is like unlimited amount of push-ups you can do in like a minute or 90 seconds or whatever it is. When I was reading the requirements, and I was like,
but how many do they want you to do? Because I can do 10.
10's amazing.
In 90 seconds?
10's, I mean, in my mind.
If there's no specification.
It's true.
And you just have to be able to do push-ups for a minute and a half.
True.
I can do it.
Well, that's the thing I wonder. It's like, okay, if you have 5 applicants, do they just take the person who could do the most push-ups? These are the things we need to know. If you're an FBI agent, let us know. If you're an espionage spy, like a Tom Cruise movie, let us know. But I do love the financial. I work in finance as well. I absolutely have a passion for financial education and helping.
That's what it is.
Helping individuals create a budget. And like that sounds silly, but it's like that is not a natural skill, right? That is something you are taught. And whether you're taught by your parents or whatever, like I know we could go into tangents and we won't, but I do have that passion. I will say though, in my finance job, I am not working my dream job.
That's true.
I am not working my dream job within
finance.
finance.
There are a lot of jobs within finance.
That's what's hard.
Hers is not.
If I could work with customers,
yeah.
If I could work with customers that are, I think about like our nurses population and our teachers and the people who are doing way more work than 90% of freaking corporate America and making way less money than they should be. If I could sit with them and I could make an impact, it would be great.
Ugh.
It would be great.
That's everything.
So.
That's everything.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have a whole podcast on financial tips, but
I know.
The good news is it's on the die. So maybe one day, I pulled it up.
Oh my God, look at that. That worked out. Yes,
work out.
True. But funny enough, so what is so funny about all of that? Dream job? Mm-hmm. Special agent.
So for you, the magic wand, if you could be
Yeah. It would be like truly like FBI, special agent, detective,
Maverick
spy.
and Goose right here. Maverick and Goose.
It's weird. It is very weird.
No death.
No.
Because we are technically both Tom Cruises.
Right. And that's the thing. It all sounds, it's like, it's a dream for a reason. You know, I didn't take steps to do it for a reason.
Yes. I knew pretty quickly that that was not the right job for me.
Oh, well.
Especially because, if I had to run to catch anybody,
Forget
I'd be
it.
like,
if my car with a remote is not picking me up and taking me
exactly
to the person.
If my chapstick didn't stun them, they're going to get away.
Exactly.
They're going to get away.
Yeah, like I said, self-awareness is big.
It's big.
All right, what is your topic?
My topic, not as fun as yours, but my topic is journaling.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. Yes, I love journaling.
Journal?
I love journaling. Yes, I love journaling. I don't journal as much as I would like to journal.
Okay.
I think most people probably fall into that category.
Mm-hmm. I own all of the notebooks in the world to journal.
All the cute notebooks.
All 1,000.
But I do like, I would even say only within the last year have I been consistently journaling.
That's pretty good. People say that sometimes, especially if you can't go to a therapist or because you can't afford it or maybe you have some trust issues.
Yeah.
Journaling is a way for you to be able to introspect what you're thinking and kind of get it out of yourself, right? Sometimes we mull over and we have those intrusive thoughts that keep coming up. And so being able to journal and spit it out into a page is a fantastic way to just get it out of your mind, out of your system. I don't journal.
Are you a to-do list person?
100%.
So I think you would enjoy journaling.
I think I would enjoy journaling so much, but I think I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And so I always start thinking about like, well, I want the penmanship to be like really pretty. And like, what if somebody reads my journal? It has to be this like fantastically written, very eloquent journal entry. And I unfortunately probably am not, gonna do that. And so I keep myself from doing it. I keep myself from journaling, and I should just be like, this is gonna suck. If you read past this sentence, that is your own dang fault.
I was gonna say, I know exactly what you mean, and didn't journal up until this last year for all those reasons, right? My handwriting, I couldn't write quick enough and
to get it out.
And keep it neat. Exactly. I would lose my train of thought, whatever. And the reason I have been able to be journaling is because I realized all of those rules are made up, right? Nobody says there's any rules around journaling. I even feel weird, like when I pick it up and I'm like, oh my God, it's been 3 weeks or a month since I journaled last. And then I was like, but who cares? I'm going to do it anyway. And that was a hurdle. That was a mind shift in and of itself. Like realizing there doesn't have to be all these rules.
Okay.
Yes, I'm going to write like a trash gremlin and no one else is going to be able to read this handwriting. And it's not necessarily going to make sense. And one day it's going to be a bullet list of mind dump. And the next day it's going to be like a letter to my dad. I lost my dad recently. So like I've literally written letters to my dad. And then the next day will be like, work sucks. And then it's just, like it can be so many random thoughts. And there are things obviously like prompted journals and everything. But I think for me, it was getting over that journaling does not have to have all of these rules and guidelines. Like so many people. It doesn't have to be
anything specific.
No. And it doesn't have to be pretty and perfect. And if anything, I mean, I guess unless your spouse or whatever is snooping or something like that. But it's like the chances. Or your friend watching your house. But it's like the chances of someone else reading this and being interested enough to read this, right? Like maybe I'll have some exciting shit going on. But it's like for me, it's like I'm writing about like, oh, today my fuse was short. My temper, blah, blah, blah. I'm so annoyed about all these things. Like, I laugh thinking about Donovan reading that, and he'd be like, I lived that. Like, he knows,
right, know? Like, I was there.
So,
and all I got was this journal entry.
Yeah. So, I think once I stopped putting these imaginary rules on it that I myself created, very much like yours, that my handwriting needs to be nice, that I needed to do it daily, that I needed to light a candle and set intentions. Yeah.
I think that's I have to do it every day or
I'm not a journaler.
Yeah, or I'm not journaling, right? I bought this, that's a lie. I've got like 10 of these gorgeous leather bound, like beautiful flower paper, what I'm talking, like a paper mache. And every time I'm out and about, if I go to like a Comic-Con or MegaCon or whatever con is coming over.
You pick up another one?
I pick up another one.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is the one.
This is going to be the one I feel.
That I'm going to use. And what I have is an entire bookcase full of empty journals. Maybe I'm just going to sell them. Sell the journals. Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. Or give them to someone who will use them. Yeah.
I may give you one of my journals.
There we go.
It's wild.
There we go.
My wife is like, you cannot buy any more notebooks, any more journals, or any more pens. Because it's like a hoarding problem, right? Because I want to journal. I want to get it out, but...
And you think this will be the thing that inspires you to do so.
This is the notebook.
I do that all the time, though. I mean, I normally have multiple planners going. Because I love a planner and found a beautiful planner and I want the planner. Stickers. I hoard stickers because then I'm like, well,
if I'm using the planner.
I don't want to use my sticker and then regret it. So I better like save it for the right time to use the sticker. And then I have notebooks of stickers.
I have them too. Actually, my
It's
planner
stupid.
is in ear or eyesight, eye shot. What is that? My planner is right over there, and you can see that there are stickers coming out of it. My planner doesn't have a single sticker on it.
Right.
Not one.
Right. I relate to this. Yes.
Not one.
I relate to this.
So funny. What's your next topic?
You win some, you lose some.
Yes.
My next one is around baths or showers, if you're a bath person or a shower person. I feel
Okay.
like most people are very opinionated on this, and it's funny.
They are. I do believe, right? We promise no divisive topics, but I feel like this is one of those where people are like adamantly, typically against baths.
Typically,
Right?
yes.
I have to say, I don't have that strong of an opinion. I love me a bath, but I am gonna jump in the shower real quick afterwards.
After your bath?
Yes.
Oh, you wildin' out here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna I will make that water. I'm gonna boil in that bathtub.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'm gonna use the bath salts. I'm gonna use the bubble bath. I'm gonna use all of it. I'm just gonna soak. I'm gonna have a lovely moment.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna shower.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom does that too. My mom does that too. Absolutely.
I just feel like I'm soaking, and I know this is the argument that
everyone
bath
says.
haters have.
Yeah.
Is I'm like soaking in my stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I am a huge bath person.
I know
I'm a
you
huge bath person. But I will always, so I normally like work out and you get ready for work and everything in the morning. So I am normally a morning shower, evening bath person. Like if I have worked out or done something that day,
You have to.
I cannot have a bath. I cannot have a bath. But I won't necessarily, like I can have a shower at 7 a.m., work all day, and then have a bath at like 9 p.m.
I think you bathe a lot more than I do.
Oh, I definitely, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
That's why she would just have no problems telling her husband to jump in the
Yes.
shower.
Oh, no, absolutely.
She's like,
absolutely.
I'm too clean
But
for you to be all kind of
That's
gross.
right. Don't get on me. Do
Yeah.
not get on me.
Yeah, I prefer a shower.
Yeah.
Yes, and I have this beautiful, like...
You have a really nice shower.
No, I have a beautiful bathtub. But it's like a process. Like, to me, a bath isn't like, oh, I'm just going to fill it up. I'm going to clean myself and get out. It's like a whole process. So if I'm not in that mindset of like wanting to give myself that moment, I'm just going to jump in the shower, take care of business, and get out.
I think that's why I like baths.
Because it makes you slow down.
Because it's a process. Yeah, because it's a process. And my husband always makes fun of me because he says I bring, he calls them Nan piles. Nana, my family calls me Nana. So he calls them Nan piles that I carry around, right? So I bring my journal in case I'm inspired. I bring my candle. I bring my book. I bring my little tablet in case I need to watch Bob's Burgers.
Process.
I need to bring, I bring all of that. But I bring all of that anyway with me. I never know when the mood's gonna strike. Like I travel around the house with my pile, right? Or my crocheting or whatever. Like I'll bring it all with me. And then my husband is a woodworker and he has made me this bath tray that I can put all my shit in. And so I pile everything up on my tray and I have the bubble bath and the candles and everything. But like to me, that is like my unwind time. That's like my end of day time. So like even if it's late, even if it's like 10:30 or 11 and we're like getting ready for bed, I'll be like, okay, I'm just going to go run and have a quick bath.
Never.
Yeah.
Never. And my other bestie is exactly the same way. She is a huge bath person. So I'll call her at any time of day and she's having a bath.
I had one today at like 10 a.m. before you got here. Yeah.
Right? So like I think
Yeah.
it's one of those things like vanilla and chocolate. Like people just are
I know.
shower people or they're bath people.
Sure.
And I'm apparently surrounded by bath people.
I have this I love baths so much actually that my therapist used this because again, lost my dad. She used this as, therapists talk a lot, or at least all of mine do. Maybe I'm unstable, but they talk a lot about being able to feel something and feel it wholeheartedly, and then being able to remove yourself out of it, right? So whether it's anger, whether it's grief, whether it's sadness, feel that. It's okay to feel
it.
that,
Mhm.
but then you have to find a way to come back to real life, right? Like I can have a breakdown at 9 a.m., but then I've got to put my big girl pants on and I've got to get to work, right? So we talked a lot about how if I was going to have a cry and have a breakdown, and we decided, we were like, what would be your thing to bring it back? And for me, I told her baths. Like after I have like a breakdown or you know, I'm really in my feels about losing him, I can get into the bath. And she even said, she's like, I'm going to suggest that to other people because I love the physical action of getting in and like washing off and rinsing it off and cleansing it. So even more so, it made me love baths even more because now I get in and I'm like, I'm washing away my anger. I feel nothing.
I don't think that's what the therapist meant. Not what she meant. But I like that. I totally get it. It's like I was reading recently about grounding work, right? So like if you are somebody that experiences a lot of anxiety in the morning, you can wake up and go outside. If you have a yard, if you have a patio, if you live in an apartment complex, you can go downstairs and go to the little bit of grass outside. And they literally talk about just putting your hands on the grass, right? Like grounding yourself and bringing yourself back to the moment, right? Like whatever's happening in your head, whatever trauma, whatever sadness, anger, whatever's happening, right? Is it happening right now? Oftentimes the answer is no. And so being able to bring yourself back to the moment and that's, I think, very tied to that sensory feeling of like touching the grass or stepping on the grass. Yes. And so I would imagine a bath having a very similar effect.
Yes, I love that. I love that analogy.
Like you're bringing yourself back.
Yeah, that's exactly
wiping away all your emotions.
That's exactly what she said. Look, if the therapist said it, it's gospel. Okay, it's right.
It's the law.
It's the law.
It's
all right.
the law.
Well, bath and shower. What's your next topic?
My next topic is superpowers.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay.
I know. I want to know a couple of things.
Hit me with the hard hits today.
Yes, ma'am. I want to know, A, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? B, if you had to pass on a superpower, what would it be? And then I'll add on to that. But those are the two main things I want to know.
Okay. If I had to have a superpower, it would be... it's really torn for me. Flying is the first one that comes to mind.
Okay.
I think the logical side of me wants to say... like being able to like transport somewhere, right? Because I really enjoy traveling. I especially love anything that gets me close or near to the beach or the ocean. So I think about, oh my gosh, how lovely would it be able to be like transport somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. But flying in and of itself is badass. Being able to fly like
just
this, like, yes, yes, and the sensation you would feel. Right? And I live right outside of Atlanta, so I think about how freaking amazing it would be to like fly over the traffic jams and be like, ha, fuckers! And flying over. But just the sensation of flying, right? Like that's the whole thing with skydiving is you just wish you could you could just slow the drop and just fly. Like don't you wish you could just take off for a second? Flying would be the superpower.
Okay.
As far as one that I would skip, and I think for me, like, I think this is what I would have chosen.
As your superpower?
Yes. 20 years ago.
Okay.
For sure. Would be, like, being able to listen to others I think of Encanto, when... The
like
cousin cousin Dolores can hear anything, hear a pin drop, whatever. Like I used to want to, and this goes back to like my insecurities in grade school and middle school, right? Like I would get up, and this is how insecure I used to be. I would like get up and like go to the bathroom and I'd be like, oh my God, the teacher's probably talking about me. Like even in my own mind, I mattered that much, right? Like even though everyone's like, you don't fucking matter. No one's talking about you. No one's thinking about you. So now I think about how freaking annoying it would be to be able to listen and hear and not be able to shut off all of that outside noise. that would be the one that I would not want.
Skip on.
I would skip. I would skip. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My superpower is actually super similar to yours, but I'm a little impatient, so I would just want to teleport to where I want to go, right? So, like, if I want to go to the beach right now and we're in Atlanta, like, I want to teleport and be in Miami Beach.
Which is nice. Which is a nice thought.
Right. Or the Keys, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to appear. I would also, back to my espionage answer, I would probably rob a lot of banks.
If you could teleport, you mean?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, yeah. Flash in, flash out?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jewelry?
Yeah.
All of it.
All
I'd
the
have
diamonds.
It. All the diamonds.
All
I'd
the
have
diamonds.
them.
I mean, you could flash into, like, Queen's Jewels.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing would be safe.
Yeah.
I would have zero control.
So you would snoop in my house.
No. Because I don't want your stuff.
Right, my shit.
I don't want your stuff. I
Right.
want money and diamonds.
Right. That's fair. Right. If you had the option.
If I had the option, I
fair.
would 1000% just be like,
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
And back out.
Oh my gosh.
Untraceable.
Yeah.
Untraceable. Shh.
That would be incredible.
You can't see
That would
me.
be. And teleport, yeah, it would be great.
It would.
It would
And
be
if
great.
I had to skip over one, very similar again to yours, I wouldn't want to hear other people's thoughts. I think of that movie with Twilight.
Yes.
Where he's at the
He can read everyone's minds.
Yes, and they're in the cafeteria and he's like, sex, money, sex, cats. Like, can you just imagine? I mean, for myself, my brain never shuts up.
Yeah.
Never shuts up. I wish it would, but it's just like constant chatter, constant creativity, like just all the time I'm thinking. And so to have to add to that,
Right.
what everybody around me is thinking, I would just drown in it. But if I was younger, I think I would have wanted that just to make sure people liked me.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I would just want to be like, you know, if somebody's being nice to me, are they really being nice to me or are they being some kind of way about it?
Yeah.
And so I think if I was younger, that would have been something that I would have wanted. But now as an adult, I'm like, I don't care what you think.
Totally. I feel the exact same.
If you're under the age of 30, you care.
Right.
Once you turn 30, it's like that skin falls off. It's like you mulch as a human being and you're like, man, I stopped caring.
That's so true.
Right?
That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I remember being like 25 and my girlfriends who were 30 telling me like, oh, these next few years are fantastic. They're transformative. Things really do get so much better. And I remember being like, they told me that at 18. Here I am at 25.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, it does happen.
It does.
It
I
does.
remember my aunt telling me, like, oh, don't worry about high school because college is going to be the time of your life. And
I
was
hated
like,
both.
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 And so I think that when you're in your teens, you are just experiencing everything for the first time. In your 20s, you're like starting to experiment as to who else you could be. And in your 30s, you just accept who you are.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. And this is where I want to head. And of course, that's not just a blanket statement for it. But I do believe that the more I talk to people around my age, the more I'm like, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Once you're in your 30s, you're like, I ain't got time to think about what other people are thinking about me. I have a job. I have a family. I have things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
your opinion of me is your opinion and not my problem.
Exactly. Don't you? And it's infuriating to me that I wasted so much energy carrying and worrying.
So many tears.
Yes.
So much anxiety.
Oh my gosh.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm going to add to our superhero question. Do you think if people woke up tomorrow, right? Like we all woke up tomorrow and we each had superpowers. Would it be like the shows where people are just like fighting it out on the streets, or do you think people would just go on with their normal lives?
No. I think people would absolutely be causing mayhem with anything at their disposal.
Really?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I went right to robbing banks.
Seriously. But I think, I mean, society is a fragile thing. It's
Yeah.
fragile. I don't think any of us like to think about that and the darkness and the reality of it, but it's like laws are the only. I immediately think of Purge, the movie Purge.
Really?
I immediately think of that because I'm like, because even though it's a movie, I think it would be absolutely true. I really think the only thing keeping people in line is laws. And I think most of the time, people, I think they just, if
Would
they
take
had some,
advantage of
they
it.
would take advantage. They would take advantage. I think if people had powers, especially like, I'm thinking like shooty laser beams and fire and on all of the, yeah, like all the Marvel. I'm thinking of like Frozone from Incredibles. Like, absolutely, my house is going to be frozen over. Like, I think people will absolutely take to the streets and there would be mayhem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would you, with whatever power you had, in this chaotic dystopian society, would you choose to be a hero or a villain?
Oh, a hero, 100%.
Me too.
A hero, 100%. I'd use my little fly powers and I'd go collect every fucking dog I could find. And be like, Frozo's not getting you today.
I love that that's what you chose to describe as your hero. Like, I'm going to save all the dogs.
All the dogs.
All the dogs.
All the
the
dogs.
people, you're on your own.
I mean, I'll pick up a baby if I see a baby, but like, you know, they're probably protecting the babies. But yeah, I would save the animals. I would definitely be a hero. I think about how much like I am that type of person that like if I see a car accident happen and again we're road warriors, so you know, hopefully most people listening are like, I've never seen that, but like I've seen a lot of accidents on the road while I'm traveling and everything.
Same.
I am that person that when I see, if I'm sitting at a stop sign and I see an accident, I immediately am pulling over and making sure both parties are okay. And if someone's going to get angry, I'm being like, why don't you stay in the car, calm down, I'll call the cops, whatever. I do
so good.
I do try. Yeah, I try not to be that person that's like, if there's already a million people there, I'm not going to pull over and like insert myself.
Good.
But like if I witness it and I see it happen, I'm going to get involved. If I see somebody flat tire, whatever, like, yeah, I'm going to. So I would like to think I'd be a hero.
I love that. And it makes me feel a little guilty because
You'd be a villain?
No, I would totally be a hero because my conscience would not allow me to be a villain.
Yeah.
But
you rob banks.
That wouldn't make me feel too bad.
No, that's still hero action.
My conscience would not be affected by that.
That's still hero action.
And I'd be wearing diamonds, so I'd be able to surpass that pretty quickly. But no, I have seen a couple of accidents in my life firsthand where I was very young at the time, and so I didn't react that way. I didn't stop. I didn't help. But it has been, and I can even think, right? Like, it has been at least 20 years from one and 10 years from the other.
Oh, wow.
Right, so I was probably like 15 and then 25. But in Puerto Rico one time, we were driving, and right in front of us was a motorcycle. And when he, like, took the angle too sharp, and so he slid, and he bumped, and I kept going. I didn't stop to see if he was okay. Now, I could see from the rearview mirror that 20 people stopped right after me. Right. But I have carried that in my soul. Oh. Like, I should have just stopped. I should have just checked on him to see if he was okay because I saw it happen. Yeah. And then the second one, somebody had lent me their car to drop them off at the airport. So they didn't really lend me their car, but I used their car to drop them off at the airport. And on my way back home, I was behind this minivan, and we were stopped at a red light. And when the light turned green, the minivan took off, and there was this girl speeding on, I wouldn't say the opposite end, but she was coming this way, and she T-boned that minivan so bad. I mean, it looked like a commercial for what could happen if you're not paying attention. It was so bad. Yes. And they talk about
fight or flight.
Like, I 1000% was like, and I took off, and I think I got nervous because my friend's car was like a luxury car, and it was like a really nice car, and it wasn't my car. Right. So if, like, the police asked me, like, I wouldn't be able to show registration, I wouldn't be able to show anything, and so that was actually what I was thinking about. And in retrospect, I wish I had, again, I've held on to it for about 10 years because all I think about was, I wish I'd stopped.
I think that was your age.
I mean, I was 25.
I think that was your age. Yeah,
I
but
mean, I
that's
was
still
25.
that's such a baby. I think about
I know.
that's such a baby.
I know, but still, I still am like, man, I should have checked to make sure that they were okay. I should have waited for the cops to get there so I could have told them, like, that girl was not paying attention and she ran that red light and absolutely hit that minivan, like, T-boned it square on.
Did you ever find out?
Nothing on either one of them. Which is part of, I think, what carries on
Your
my
conscious, yeah.
conscious. Which is why, again, I couldn't be a villain.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even a part of what happened there. And because I didn't help, I feel still to this day guilty about it.
Oh, I hate that.
I know. I do
hate that.
too.
Yeah, I do hate that.
Too.
I know exactly what you mean, though. I know exactly what you mean. I think the reason I always stop now is because I had one of those that I didn't when I first got my license. That I was like, I'm late for work. Whatever.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah, I don't need to get pulled into this. And it was definitely one where I should have stopped and made sure, and it was literally right in front of me, and made sure they were okay. And I think because of that, I now always stop and make sure. But on the flip, my husband gets mad at me. He's like, you're going to get yourself shot. Stop checking. Stop pulling over. Stop whatever. And he gets mad, especially like, I'll be driving with him and I'll see somebody and I'll be like, oh, I really want to give that person a ride. Should we give that person a ride? And he's like, no, absolutely not. Like, stop. So I do think a little bit.
I think that all the time.
I'm too naive.
I
Yeah.
think that all the time when I'm driving in the Ocala forest.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
and
God.
I see people and I'm like,
yeah.
And I feel awful. And I feel
bad.
Awful. And also, whenever I'm driving and I see a kid, right, walking, particularly, and it's like, even in my own neighborhood, like, I get to my neighborhood and I can see that the bus just dropped them off and it's raining. I have to fight everything in my soul to not be like, hey, can I just drop you off?
Totally.
I don't want to scare the kid. I don't want the parents, right? I don't want us to be
irate.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
It's
I think about that all the time. Because even though we're coming from a place of good, most people aren't. And so thank God that kid's trained to be like, stranger!
I've never stopped. For the record, I have never stopped for one of the kids, but I think about it every time that I see them. I'm like, you can sit in the back, you can sit in the front. If you want, you can sit in the trunk, and I'll just drop you off because I don't want them to be in the rain. But then I'm like,
I know.
They're totally going to be like stranger danger.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's hard. That's hard for sure.
I know. Hey, I think that concludes today's episode. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you do want to follow along with our journey, you can find us on Instagram at The Goodnight Shop, and you can find our Spotify playlist at The Goodnight Shop.
Awesome. We will see you next time.